One West, 125th Street. Look, y'all put your faith in presidents like they gon' change this country. Run the league and let y'all play cause y'all gon' make them money. Fuck Obama, he ain't come here on Congo.
Imagine I don't like no soldiers for the spirit of the Lord. We don't like no soldiers.
Black, Hispanic, Native, they hate you as the same. Paint you as a name image, paint you as a slave. God ain't all love, scriptures say he hate. African soft niggas, they know we not the same. School to prison pipeline to get you off the streets. Put you in the cell toilet connected to the saint. Molested as a kid, she prostituted as a teen. The byproduct of Martin Luther King dream. They just took the yoke off, my nigga, we ain't free. We live in bleak in these wastelands of poverty. If you don't know the truth, then the lie sound promising. Prophecy, gift and the curse. Dylan started killing, they was sitting in church. Black folk forgave them, man, this shit is absurd. You should never love your enemy, that shit ain't gonna work. Yeah, fuck dying on your knees, you better die in glory. Man, I joined the UPK, taught me the art of warring. I took a nigga life like mine to be recognized. I feel that pain every day, it can't be reconciled. Pops banging, my sister a prostitute. My brother got life, and somehow I still found the truth. War ready, no cowards, no excuse. Fuck reparations, you can't manage no open wounds. Blood on the leaves, body swing hung from a noose. I was on a run in Nashville and I found the truth. I called the school, classes being held by the shop on my life. I want to be a gangster like a cop. Do this for my brothers, real brotherhood. Everything we do, we got it out this book. My nigga, I can never be no African. UPK the only authorized acronym. I'm passionate about my brothers and sisters. We in hell, I ain't got nothing against them. That's another religion. If it ain't under your honor, ain't he murdered by them and got a hug from your honor. That's the way out for a coward in my observation. They don't fear the Lord, they indoctrinated. Wolves in sheep clothing, Joe Osteen. Real priests bringing back black royalty. One West on my headpiece, ranking order. Can't let them trick me off the streets, I gotta raise my daughter. I got brothers at the border ducking ICE agents. I got the name change, it was life changing. My family thought it was a game, put on all black, they said I was going through a phase. There's more of us in jail than it was slaves.
Aquí somos la Escuela Israelita del Conocimiento Práctico Universal. Hoy estamos aquí con la forma de general Yahana na ESUP. This is what Commander General Yahana did. This is what he did.
First camp, I cut off all my dreads. I took an oath when that oil hit my head. Niggas capping like they lids. I'm a priest, I never stick no fork in no pig. I was dead till I found out how to live. This brotherhood taught me how to be a man. I came back to my roots, I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge. I got a rib, I'm married to this work. You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church.
That's right. You know how we do it, Commander General Yahana, feeding the people, down here in Trinidad. You see what's going on in the rain right now, and condition of the people right now is real bad. So again, big ups Commander General Yahana, for all, the work that put in over the years, that we could raise up, young black men down here in Trinidad, and could do the same as well in his footsteps. Let me get up.
fall up under that UPK banner. It's my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary. It's all about that warfare, boy. Back up, it's all about that warfare, boy. My soldiers take ground till them stand down. Take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down. Take ground. Now this ain't no movement, this a takedown. We would not be moved or intimidated. We ain't the type. You got a problem, tell them cross the fucking line. My niggas ain't polite. Soldiers to the left and right. I die for every man body. Before I be a coward, I'd rather be a dead body. This will be my kingdom when the hour pass. You can either get with it or get flipped like an hourglass. We live by honor and no excuse. Just sit to pray up to the Lord. I told him, then let all the terrorists loose. Hold your tongue or get rebuked, cause you made a truce. With a race that made merchandise out of my abuse. Scared of who? You got your gun, then pull it. Me and my niggas start to argue, it's about who gon' bite the bullet. It gon' take ground. Opponents better move slow. Attack dog for this truth. Nigga, cool zone. Go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Give ground. Back up. Give ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down. Take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down. Oh, thought you could cross us with no consequence, but you will pay daily. You should've used your common sense. My zeal lit, that means you could never prevail. Hey, where the truth sit, hey, where warriors dwell. Be wise with the weapons, cause I promise. My nine just like my wife, she concealed, she modest. I know two things, a robber will not prosper. And any man harm me and my aunt gon' meet the doc. Cause this life is warfare, it's not an easy walk. Been watching my people die so you can miss me with that love talk. My UPK soldiers, any man try to cross your path, make him regret it. What that means, fall on his age. Comparing me to you really ain't no contest. Long live one win, say what? Long live one win. This for those who thinking we ain't ready for 'em. Tell them back up, I'm about to drop something heavy for 'em. Go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Give ground. Back up. Give ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down. Take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down.
I got you. Let it vibe real quick. Look.
The city eyes, it's time to vote God. My God, a real nigga, cause he wasn't no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shot in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard, tell them it's all true. Be cautious, that foundation falls to you fall through. They gon' fall. Look, I keep this shit 50 times soon. Ain't no more heart in this game, I'm John Q. We colder than the avalanche, way above average. Vince taste sweet, told him make me an apple crisp. Left us in the valley full of bones, this where hope found. Java, come on, man, dark sands get broke down. Riding through Evans to a mall quad, telling me how the crackers turn the shower into a ghost town. Poker stop, nigga, I lay that game down. I feel his pain, cause nothing is the same now. Never like shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Block have a fit like my child, no tangent. Try to warn them niggas, we bear arms like tarantulas. Them mother niggas rap, I make anthems. I really seen prophets under this banner. Make my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that sunk dirty to handle. Look, I move like a Priscilla, precious cargo, spirit ancient, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's Hardo. Sleep if they won't, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Pay me for his name, so I gotta keep that steel clutch. Trust me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Georgia when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Round with Yaradon, just left the state bridge. Looking for a bitch better than Baby's kid. Remember, I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone ever since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence, yeah.
All right, Shalom Israel, Yahweh Shem Yashai B'Akatam, to all the brothers, Yahweh Shemai Latan, B'Ashem Yashai, to all the sisters, priest and officer math choir of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, which is located at Light Pole number 1, Morris Street in Point Fortin. We are coming to you live right now from Light Pole number 1, Morris Street in Point Fortin. All right? To get more information on the school, if you'd like to be a part of the school, you'd like to help the priests and the prophets of the Lord, to contact Officer Sawapiala, that is the officer above me. His number is number 4709-8286. That's 4709-8286. They want to give donations to the school, right? Because as you could see, we do food drives and all the different things in different areas, right? They want to help give donations to the school. They could contact Officer Sawapiala at 479-8286. The number is scrolling below the screen. Also the school location if you want to come to the school, drop off your donations and so forth, right? Also too, you could contact the captain over the school. That is the captain over Officer Sawapiala. That is Captain Mashak Mayam. You could get him at number 202-701-4640. Again, number 202-701-4640. Could also reach him on WhatsApp or call him direct. You understand? You need more information about the school. You want to be a part of the school. You want to drop in your donations to help the men of the Lord. Also, too, you can subscribe to all ISUPK channels, ISUPK Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, to keep up to date with all the latest activities that is happening in and around Israel. And when I say in and around Israel, we're talking about in and around Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All right. Also, too, you can check out the Commanding General Yohanan Black Watch on Monday. That is from 9 p.m. where you get all the latest updates on the things that are happening in and around the world. Right here. So that is something very important for us as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to know and to understand with the times and the things that are happening right now on the earth. Right. Our next upcoming High Holy Day, because these are the days of the Lord, these are the feast days, the high holy days that the Lord command Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to keep. We are not supposed to be celebrating the traditions of the world, things like Easter, Christmas, New Year's, birthdays, and all these different things. We are not supposed to be celebrating these things. But if we profess that we love the Lord and we follow the things that is in the Bible, then you have to keep the high holy days and the feast days that the Lord ordained for his people, which is Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, right? The next upcoming high holy day we have is the Memorial Blowing of Trumpets. That will be Sunday, the 21st of September, 2025. You can find that in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 24 to 25. Right? Tonight, the topic of the class tonight, we'll talk about the Christian church keeps us asleep. Because yet still in 2025, most of our people still believe that Christ is a white man, the angels are white. We think that we should be praying for peace between all nations. We think everybody should join hand in hand We still believe in interracial marriage, that we can marry who we want and all these different things. But according to the Lord, this Bible is for you so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. This Bible was not meant for no other race, no other nation on the face of the earth. And we have to come to realize, if we truly desire to serve the Lord, or we want to serve the Lord, then we have to inquire about the things of the Most High. We have to inquire about the things that the Most High wants us to do. Because in life, we may do everything else. Build a house, we work hard to build a house, we work hard to build businesses, we work hard to raise our children, we work hard to establish different things. But one thing we must come to realize, that we have to work hard also to serve the Lord. We have things to do that the Lord requires from us as a nation and as a people. But our people, through the Christian church, because the Christian church is not teaching us who we are, they are not showing us the laws of the Most High, they are not showing us the things that the Lord requires from us, we are asleep. We don't know what's going on right now on the earth. We don't know our culture. We don't know our history. We don't know our heritage. Give me the book of Isaiah chapter 4 verse 6. Not Isaiah. Hosea chapter 4 verse 6, Baba Kusha. We don't know who we are. We don't know our history, our culture. When we look at the times that are happening right now, watching all these mass floodings, we don't know why it's happening. We don't understand who it is coming from. We're looking at all the killings that are happening on the face of the earth, all these wars and rumors of wars. We don't understand nothing, because we in the Christian church will be dancing and singing, and our religious leaders not showing us why these things is happening. You understand? And what we need to be doing as a people to prep ourselves for this time, right? When you have it, give me Baba Kusha.
Book of Hosea 4 verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
My people are destroyed.
The Lord is telling so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man that his people, we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. When we keep ourselves in the Christian church or the Muslim mosque, or we claim to be atheists, or we say that we don't serve the Most High, or the Most High knows my heart, we are a people that are destroyed for knowledge. We don't understand what the Lord requires from us. In 2025, we're still walking around saying we're Muslim, saying we're Baptist, saying we're Pentecostal, saying we're atheist, Egyptologist, and all these different things. You understand? But the Lord, so-called black man, who's Hispanic man and Native Indian man, has separated you from among all these other races, from among all these other nations upon the face of the earth. He has made you separate himself. The Lord is telling us we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So when you see people fighting to uphold different religions, uphold different races and their theology, their ideology, we must come to the realization that we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. We love to uphold everything else of these other nations. But when it comes to us, or our people, or the things that we're supposed to know or dive in or dig in to uphold our people, to bring our people back to the way the Lord wants us to be, we don't know it. The Lord is telling us, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, that his people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Give me Romans chapter 13 and verse 11, Baba Kosha. And it's time now that we must understand that these schools that is set up by the Most High under commanding General Yohana, we have to understand that these schools is for you, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. These schools is for you to come and learn your culture, your history, your heritage. This is the safe point for our people to come back to knowing who they are. This is the safe point, the safe point. You understand? And we must come to realize that, because there are things that the Lord requires from us. You understand? Christian church, they make us feel that the Lord is, that we are serving the Lord and we're waiting for the Lord to make his return. No, we're not waiting on the Lord. The Lord is waiting for us as a people to get ourselves right. How could we get ourselves right? It's understanding the things that the Lord wants us to do, the things that is required from us. Because when you go to the scriptures, you're going to see the prophets of old have spoken about these things. You understand? What does the Lord require from us? What does the Lord require from his people? You understand what I'm saying? We're going to go into that as we're going later on in the class, but it must have things that we have to do as a people in order for us to be in the right standing with the Lord. You understand? When you haven't read it, Baba Kusha.
Romans 15, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
And that during the time that now is high time to awake out of sleep.
So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, this is the time This is high time that we are supposed to awake out of sleep. Most of us walking around here in Trinidad and Tobago, we don't understand that we are fast asleep. You understand? We are fast asleep, not knowing what's happening in the world today. We're going to church. We're going into all different other religions. You understand? We talking things that is not really appropriate for this time. This time we have to turn to the Most High. This time we have to turn to the Lord. You understand? It's time for us to wake up out of sleep. When you look at the signs, you look at the times, you're going to realize that the Lord is about to make his return. The Lord is about to come back for his people, his chosen people. Read it from the top again, Baba Kosha, if you could.
The book of Romans chapter 15 and verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
You understand? It's time for us to wake up out of sleep, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, and turn back to the things that the Lord requires from us. You understand? Drop the traditions of this world, the things that we are taught, that we have been continuously taught. You understand? By the oppressor. It's time for us to search it out, understand it, and drop it. You understand? Because we're going to keep passing it on to our children, and our children is going to pass it on to their children, and it's going to continually be going through our generation, and we're not going to understand what we need to do as a people. We're not going to understand why are we in this condition that we're in. We're not going to understand why can black people come together. Just as the Lord has said in the scriptures, paraphrasing the scripture, gather yourself together, O nation, not desired. You understand? But we have to drop the things of the oppressor. First of all, when you come into understanding who you are as a so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, or you leave the Christian church, which is highly important right now, you're going to understand that there are things that you must know. You must know who you are, which is of utmost importance. You must know that you are royal people, a people from a particular bloodline that Christ chose to be his own. Then you must understand who are your enemies, because you will be intertwining with these other nations and not understanding that these other nations are your enemies. You understand? Because when you go to the book of Psalms, you're going to realize that the Lord, that David, when he spoke, he was saying that, just paraphrasing, the nations are made a tumult. You understand? And they that hate, they have lifted up the head. They that hate the Lord have begun to get proud. We must understand who our enemies are. Once we start understanding these things and you start going into the biblical history of who these other nations are, you're going to see that they always had black, Hispanics, and Native Indians under captivity. We was always oppressed. As we're going down into the class later on, you're going to see where these other nations had us oppressed. You understand? And we don't understand so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. When we go to the church, we're not hearing, we're not learning the things that you're supposed to learn, the things that you're supposed to know. You understand? In order for us to come to be that nation that the Lord requires from us, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian. That is in our Romans. Yeah, continue, Baba Kosha.
The book of Romans 13 and verse 11.
Go ahead.
And that, during the time, that now is high time to awake out of sleep.
So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, it's high time that we awake out of sleep. Walk away from these religions. Walk away from the Christian church. Walk away from the Muslim mosque. You understand? Awake up out of sleep and not stop believing that they are African. Stop believing these other nations and intertwining into their culture, into their history, into their philosophies, and their doctrines. Time for us to wake out of sleep and understand the signs of the times, knowing that we are the Lord's chosen people, the Lord's holy people. You understand, go ahead?
For now is our salvation. Here we have believed.
Because now, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, as we have been oppressed by these other nations for all this time, our salvation, you understand, is nearer than when we believe. Salvation is you being saved from your enemies, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Christ is about to make his second return. Most people is be saying, well, you no longer hearing that, whatever the case might be. But you, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, you have a job to do. Start understanding who you are, start understanding your culture. Start with these basics. You understand? And then work your way up into understanding the more deep things. And you're going to understand who you are. You're going to understand the role these other nations played. Your history and your captivity, which is of utmost importance. We have Bibles throughout all our homes. We have Bibles all over. You understand? One of the greatest books on the planet. And we don't even understand the power that we have in our houses. But so-called black man, the ICPK is here for you. The schools are open. These doors are open 24/7. Call the numbers on the screen. You understand? Get into these classes. Start learning and understanding who you are. Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. Give me the book of Isaiah Babakusha. Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 3. When you have it, go ahead.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner.
So now, so-called black man, the Lord is comparing us with an ox. He's showing us the characteristics of an ox. The Lord is saying the ox knows his owner. We all know that, back then when people do agriculture, even now, some people still use it. That they use ox for agriculture, showing you the temperament of the animal. The animal calm, you understand, have calm temperaments, as well as it could be very stubborn. You understand? As well as this animal could be trained to do whatever you want it to do. You understand? To plow, to pull, to push, to turn. You just have to guide it. But the Lord is telling you something here. The Lord is saying the ox knows his owner. No matter where that animal is, once you show up, so-called black man, the ox will know it's you. I remember a time back then I went in a little farm. Well, it was kind of big. And they were showing you the animal far in the distance, and from the time you see the owner just come and make a song or something like that. And the load that he had on him, the ox take off and come straight to the direction of the farmer. You understand? The Lord is telling you the ox knows the owner. Go ahead.
The ox knoweth his owner. And the ass his master's script.
Go ahead.
But Israel would not power my people who not consider.
You understand? The ass knows his master's crib. The ass knows his master's home. You understand? But the Lord is telling us, so-called black man, Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian, that royal blood, that royal seed. The Lord is saying, Israel does not know. We don't know our owner. We don't know our master's script. You understand? We don't know who we are. We don't know how we should gather ourselves together to come back to the Lord. When these religious leaders and these Christian churches are supposed to be guiding us back to the Lord, bringing us back as a people together, they don't know how to do it. You understand? But the Lord is saying, but Israel do not know, and my people, you understand? Showing a possessive position that we're in, my people, we does not consider. We doesn't consider the things of the Most High. You understand? We doesn't consider the things that the Most High wants us to do. What does it mean when the Lord says, my people doesn't consider? It's telling you that we don't think carefully. To consider is to think carefully what the Lord requires from us, what the Lord wants from us. You understand? How we could diligently return back to the Lord. But as a people, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, these is the things that we must consider. This is the time that we must understand we have to return to the Lord. Look at everything that's happening on the earth today. Look at everything that's happening in the country. You understand? Leaders meeting leaders and making big moves. Things happening. You understand? And we are not supposed to get caught up in this and move in a direction that is away from the Lord. We have to come back and build our nation, brick by brick, little by little. You understand? But we must consider the things that the Most High wants us to do. All right? Give me Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 12, Babakusha. We must consider that the things the Most High wants us to do. We might want to do what the Christian church say and feel that it is right. You understand? But we have to examine the things that these religious leaders is telling us to see if it's really right. Open the Bible, read it for yourself, ask questions. You understand? Ask questions to the religious leader. Why this? How this? Why this happened? Why that didn't happen? You understand? And when they get their answers, compare it with what they're hearing in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge and see if it adding up. See what it say. You understand? When you have it, read Babakusha.
Proverbs 14 and verse 12.
Go ahead.
There is a way which seemeth right unto a man.
There's a way that seemeth right unto a man. So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, we go into church, we hear any religious leaders speaking, and we might think that this way is the right way. You understand? When we look at what's happening with our brothers and sisters, those going into the abortion clinics, you understand? Aborting their babies, those committing adultery, because in the way of that man's eyes, it seems right. It seems like the right thing to do, because he does not understand that the Lord laid out rules and laws for us to follow as a people. He doesn't understand that. Now, if when we go to the Christian church or we go to the Muslim mosque and the religious leaders tell us that we as a people, we have a way to live, we have rules to follow. You understand? We have to teach these things to our other brothers and sisters and our children. Then we will understand what we are doing is either right or wrong. You understand? Read it from the top again, Baba Kusha.
Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
There is a way which seemeth right unto a man,
Mm-hmm.
but the end thereof are the ways of death.
You understand? There's a way that seemeth right unto a man. Selling drugs to your brother, aborting babies. You understand? Being this, all these religious sectors. You understand? Committing adultery and whoredom. There's a way that seems right. But to the end thereof, these ways are death. So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man are going to die. And we here to give you that life that Christ wants for you, so-called black man. You understand? We have to step away from these things. Come back to what the Lord give us. How could we know or how could we learn what the Lord give us? Right here in the ISUPK under commanding General here. Right here in that Bible that you have collecting dust at home. You understand? Step away from these things and come back to the things of the Lord. The Lord said that his laws are not grievous. It is not burdensome. Meaning it's something that we as a people, we could keep, we could follow. You understand? When you examine the Bible properly, you understand it's a proper, the book is alive. Proper construction of government for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. These are the things that we must understand. And when you start looking into it and you start realizing the workings of it, then you're going to know what was missing for all this time. Then you're going to understand, nah, I can't step away from this book. I can't step away from these things. These things, this year is to help build my nation. Why is the East Indians making the move and building their nation, and the Arabs, you understand? The Russians, all these other, why is they doing their thing for their people? Your rules is right here in this Bible. Your rules is right here in this book. The way you're supposed to do things is right here. Everything. Right here. You understand? But the Christian leaders have us confused in church, dancing, singing, and doing every wrong thing that is opposite to the Most High. You understand? That is absolutely opposite to the Most High. But the Lord wants us to return to him, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. You understand? He wants us to return to him. Don't look at, nah, the Lord knows my heart. That way is what you seem to be right in your own eye. Now, we have to search out the things that the Most High, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Come and learn it. You understand? Give me Proverbs chapter 3, Baba Kusha, verse 5 to 6. Come and learn it in the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You understand? When you have a ticket, go ahead.
Okay.
Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 to 6.
The book of Proverbs, the 5.
Go ahead.
For the lips of a straight woman.
So like I jump to verse 5. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5.
The book of Proverbs, 3 and verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart.
And this is what we have to do. So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. We have to trust in the Lord with all our heart. Not talking about the organ in your body. Trust in the Lord with all your mind. When you think about the things and you do the things that the Lord wants us to do, we have to trust in what the Lord wants us as a people to follow. Go ahead.
And lean not unto thine own understanding.
And don't do what?
And lean not unto thine own understanding.
And do not feel, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, that you already have this thing figured out. Don't lean onto your own understanding. You understand? Don't lean and think that the book this Bible was written by a white man. Don't feel that this book must intertwine with the Egyptian Book of the Dead. You understand? When you come into the fullness of this Bible, the fullness of this truth, you realize you must be taught by someone. You understand? Even the prophets knew that. You must be taught by someone. This is not to be saying down in the church and they're just telling you what they want and they just take it and they go home. The Lord tell you, lean not unto your own understanding. You're reading the scriptures and they say, nah, this is what it means. All right, yeah, good. Nah, you must be taught by priests and prophets of the Lord. You understand? And the only place you're finding that is in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, under commanding General Yohana. Read it from the top again, Baba Kusha.
Trust in the Lord with all thy heart.
So we must trust in the Lord, the things that the Lord said for us to follow, for us to keep, for us to do. You understand? Trust that all these prophecies will come to pass. You understand? Go ahead.
And lean not unto thy own understanding.
And do not lean, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, unto your own understanding. Don't think that all nations are supposed to be together. Don't think that we are supposed to interracially marry with all these other nations. Don't think that God loves everybody. Don't lean to your own understanding, so-called black man. When you come into the truth, you understand, you start learning the scriptures, you start learning the Bible. These priests and prophets of the Lord is going to share what you religious leaders are teaching you all the time. It is absolutely wrong. We are not supposed to intermarry with these other nations. And it's right here, everything right here in this book. You understand? We are not Africans. The Lord said that he put a separation between the Egyptians and the Africans. You understand? They're going to realize that Christ is not a white man. He's actually a black man. They're going to understand who the 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel is. You understand? When the prophets went out on the streets, the disciples went on the streets, they didn't went to every nation on the face of the earth. They went to particular people. You understand? And that people is your people, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian. Give me Deuteronomy 7:6, Baba Kusha. That people is you, your people, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. You understand? Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 7:6. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God.
So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. The Lord is letting you know that you are a holy people. Holy means Kodash or separate in the Hebrew. The Lord is telling you that you are a separate people, a holy people. You understand? Go ahead.
For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
So the Lord has chosen us. You understand? The 12 lost tribes. The Lord has chosen us to be a special people unto himself. So out of all the families on the earth, the Lord has chosen black man, the Hispanic man, the Native Indian man to be that holy people, that Kodash, that separate people unto himself. He wants us to himself. You understand? Go ahead.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
You understand? So don't matter how these other nations might be looking mighty and powerful and, you know what I mean? They're ruling the earth. They're making different things happen. The Lord is telling us he wants us. He has chosen us to be above all people on the face of the earth. So above the Chinese, the East Indians, the Japanese, the Syrians, the white man who are in control right now. You understand? The Lord wants us to be above them. Above all nations, above all races. But of course, when you look at black people today, realizing we're not above all these other nations. We're not above all these other races. Because we are not being taught the things that we're supposed to know to be above all these other nations, to be above all these other races. You understand? We are not being taught that in the Christian church, not being taught that in the Muslim mosque, or none of these religions. You understand? But where you will find that is in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We're going to teach you the things that the Lord requires for us to be above all these other nations or all these other races on the face of the earth. You understand? Because that is what the Lord wants for his people. The Lord don't want us to be at the bottom. He wants us to be above all nations on the face of the earth. Give me Psalm chapter 147, Baba Kusha. You understand? He wants us to be above. He wants us to be the ruling class. We is the ones supposed to be governing the. Just like how the white man or the oppressor, he is in the ruling state right now. State where you want this happen or where this want this to happen or whatever the case might be, the Lord wants us to be in that position. We is the ones supposed to be ruling over these other nations. We can't rule up over these other nations when we in sin. When we transgressing the Most High law. When we're not doing the things that he requires for us to do. We can't rule over these other nations. You understand? Whenever we read Bible Kushar.
The book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19. He showed his word unto Jacob.
The Lord has showed his word. You understand? Unto Jacob. Jacob, from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob. Jacob became the father, the 12th tribe of the nation of Israel. The Lord is saying that he showed his word unto Jacob. Go ahead.
The statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
You understand? His statutes and his judgments. He showed his punishments, the things that will happen to us if we disobey the Most High. He showed it to Israel. Go ahead.
He hath not dealt so with any nation.
He has not what?
Dealt so with any nation.
The Lord hasn't dealt like that with none of these other races, with none of these other nations. The Lord didn't show them his word, his judgments, his punishments, his statutes. You understand? He have not dealt so with no other race. We, black people, is the ones that the Lord have shown these things to. You understand? The Lord saying that he have not dealt so with any other nation, with any other race. Go ahead.
He hath not done so with any nation. As for his judgments, they have not known them.
Idea 20. Okay, we don't have.
Praise God. Praise the Lord.
I know sweat. You understand? The Lord is saying that he have not dealt so with any other nation, and for his judgments, for the punishments of the Most High, you understand? They have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. Let me show you something so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. Now we're getting a chance to come back to your true history, your true heritage, your true identity. Now you're getting a chance to come back into understanding the fear of the Lord. Understand his mercy, his kindness, his judgment, his statutes. You understand? Lord saying that he showed this word to Israel. We are the ones that the Lord gave his rules to, his laws to. You understand? You're not going to learn that nowhere else, so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, but in the ISUPK. Why we wasn't taught these things when we used to go in the Christian church or the Muslim mosque? Why are not hearing these religious leaders talking these things now? You turn on the TV now, what you're reading now is some other madness they're talking about. Something they're reading a book or something that happened to some other pastor in the next church. Not showing the black man who they are, the Hispanic man, the Native Indian man who they are. They're not showing how to raise their kids according to the laws of the Most High. The things they're supposed to be eating from what they're not supposed to be eating. You understand? How you're supposed to live with your brother and sister. They're not showing you the government of black people in the Bible and how it is function, how it is operate. They're not showing you these things. You understand? And as the scripture says, the leaders of this people cause them to err. These are the ones that cause black, Hispanic, and Native Indians to err. You understand? These is the ones that cause black people to error. This is the time we as a people, we have to try our best to step away from the Christian church, step away from the Muslim mosque, step away from these things that are not actually helping us. When you look back at the times and your grandmother time and your great-grandmother time, as far as you could go back till now, nothing in the Christian church haven't changed. You understand? Nothing in the Christian church haven't changed, and we haven't learned nothing that could help us as our people come out from the condition that we're in. When you hear the priests and prophets of the Lord on the street corner from the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, and they're telling you that you were slaves, the Bible showing you where you were captive in Egypt and how you're going to be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. You understand? Showing you how we was our royal people, how we used to dress. The things that happened with Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, she had to come to learn from him. You understand? Showing us the things that our forefathers went through when these other nations rised against them. showing you what will befall us once we disobey the laws of the Most High, once we disobey the Lord. You understand? Showing you that these things came to pass. When we disobey the Lord, the things that he says going to come to pass, it happened. When we obey the Lord, the things that he said will happen when we obey him, it actually happened. You understand? Showing us how we have to put our trust and our faith in the Most High when things looking grim, when things looking bleak for our nation. We'll read that story a little later. You understand? Inside this Bible, this book have everything. It's showing you whereby our enemies sit and study our nation. So now when we fighting on our own to come out from the condition that we're in, we're not realizing that our enemies have already studied us. This didn't just happen overnight. It was over a period of time. And they studied Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and they understood how they could come in and infiltrate it. You understand? But we as a people, we always remember the Most High. We always remember the laws of the Lord. You understand? And once we return to that, and we start holding on to it, we start keeping it the way the Most High wants us to do it, we're going to see the Most High is going to rise and fight for us, so-called Black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. These other nations know that. They know that. Even back in the Bible, back how much 100 years ago, they already knew that. But now when we're walking around and we're running in the churches, we not understanding the things that we're up against. Because we mind on something that just filling with belly, filling with lust. We mind not on the things that help bring this nation out collectively back to the position that the Lord wants us to be. Dancing and we singing in church, they understand, having a good time, because it's just a loss we're trying to fulfill. We ain't realizing that. But the East Indians studying us, the Chinese studying us. You understand? All these other races studying us. That is why they could come and they could build all the groceries in certain areas. They ain't going up in the Westmorelands and opening it up there. They know exactly which part to come and open the groceries and the supermarkets and the chop shops or whatever the case it is. You understand? And the restaurants. They know exactly which part to come down in the ghetto where Black people reside. They know exactly what to put on the forefront for us to eat. You understand? The pork and the crab and the shrimp and the lobster. The things that the Most High don't want us to follow through it. But they're putting it there for us because they know once we stumble against the Most High, they're good. They're good. Their communities will start getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Whilst Black people communities, their cities and their towns just diminishing. You understand? Why are we not learning that in the Christian church? Why these things not coming across the TV from all these institutions to show Black people, hey, always are royal people and always are separate people. Always not supposed to be eating and drinking and dressing like that. You understand? Only women not supposed to be dressing like that. No adultery, no abortion clinics in the ghettos. You understand? Why these things not happening? Because the Christian church, so-called Black man, is here to keep you asleep. It is here to keep you asleep. Sometimes, you know, like when I watch back at certain things happening in these communities, more up in the north, well, all Black communities, right? But I'm talking about like all these parties and things. I see how Black people come together to throw a party and have a time. I'm not saying everything they're doing inside is right, but when I watch now, Black people could come together and enjoy themselves and all these plannings and all these different things. That is a beautiful thing to see. That is a beautiful thing to behold. Salakia. Right.
Now, this question. If anyone needs, religious or churches and to other people that only Indian Prime Minister would say, was totally separated from the youth. Be it everybody or people
Right.
that East Indian is very important.
Yeah. Correct. You're correct. Perfect.
So I will and say this scripture that
Perfect.
this last week was
Perfect. Perfectly said. Perfectly said. You understand? Let me give the camp the hand for that. Perfectly said. What they teach, what they teach their people. But there's what we have to understand too, because that was well said, and I'll go piggyback on that in a while. What we teaching our people. You understand? If we intertwine with these other nations or these other races, we're going to teach them. We're going to teach our people what they're teaching their people. Because we, as a people, we have nothing to hold on to give our people. You understand? The ISUPK, we have the Most High laws, commandments, and statutes. We have this book. We have our history, we have our records. Once you learn that, just as the officer was bringing out, you understand? Once you learn that, you could pass that to your people. When the East Indian Prime Minister came down here, he passed on what he had for his people. We think everybody, this OCI card is not for it's not for black people, you know? And even when you look back to show you how lost we are as a people, just as the officer was reading there, our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. To show you how we lost as a people. Even when the African leader came down, what he did for black people in Trinidad. You understand? You see in the East Indian Prime Minister come down and he do certain things for his people. You understand? Open certain doorways for his people. What did the African, what doorways, you understand, or things he did to open for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So it goes to show, you understand, once you're not in the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge, learning your culture, your history, your heritage, you're going to be wide asleep. Not seeing that these other nations have absolutely nothing. Yes, so like Officer Yaka. Check your mic, eh? Baba Kusha. Yeah. It off. Yeah. Right, nice.
Yeah, there was a video circulated where when they were doing the photo op, when the Indian Prime Minister came, and I could see they had a token Negro boy. You understand? So
well said. Well said. I'm going to get there. Well said. But go ahead.
and even then, they could not even contain themselves at that point.
Thank you.
Just for a few minutes.
Thank you.
They still had to push him away.
Thank you.
You understand? So I was just wanted to bring up.
Perfect. Perfectly said. You understand? And of course, you have to give an answer for that too. Because it goes to show that in the school, we're watching, we're observing, we're seeing. Remember, we are, as a people, when you start getting to understand the laws of the Most High, you're going to start to see things totally different to how you were seeing it when you was in the world. You understand? Just as the officer bringing out there, you actually saw that separation between the East Indians and our people. You understand? Most people didn't grab onto it to run with it because we as a people, you know, we just do, like small thing, man. You understand? And bypass that. But these other nations, they're not making joke with the culture, the history, the heritage, and the understand, most importantly, who black people are. You understand? They know no matter how high you get, you're still a slave. You're a child of a slave. That is how they viewing us. But we have to understand so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, just as how we read. The Lord wants us to be a holy people and a separate people. We have to return to what the Lord gave us. You understand? And be that bloodline, that special people the Lord wants us to be, not people watching us as children of slaves. You understand? But as we were saying earlier, what have the Otumfu, when he come down here, he did for black people? What has that African leader done for black people? Not one thing. No doorways and no gateway to say, well, all right, the 6th and 7th generation of the slave traders, the children of the slave trade, could come back to Africa. You understand? Come back to the Mali Empire or the Bantu Empire or Timbuktu. No gateway wasn't open for us because they know that we are not their people. You understand? When I was doing a little homework on that, I started listening to when they're talking and you're actually hearing that these Africans say we are not their people. When the East Indian Prime Minister come down here, whilst they was doing certain interviews and things, and listening, and you're hearing the history of the East Indians coming along here, they had it nice. They had it nice. You understand? And then when it comes to our people coming on the transatlantic slave trade through these harsh conditions, we must just, forget about that. You understand? Go ahead, upside your card.
Yes, okay. You know, there's always a growing trend or trope that, you know, they're always saying when they come in, they suffer so much.
Mm-hmm.
They had so much suffering,
Mm-hmm.
and they suffer just like slavery. All these things which are categorically not true.
Exactly.
Because they had ample of opportunity and they did not suffer.
Exactly.
The way they're trying to make the society believe that they
suffered. Correct. Correct is right. You understand? Just as Officer Yakad saying they didn't suffer. When they came here, they was getting paid. We came here with our backs whipped, bruises like that. How much millions of us died? But here was the thing between look at the East Indians and the children of the slave trade. When the East Indians came down here, they still had their culture to hold on to, you know, because they know how to dress in the Murti or the Doti or whatever the hell they call it. You understand? They knew their foods. They knew they could have had those who speak in Hindi. They know the Sanskrit. I listening and I started to realize, but wait now, they know everything. But then all they come in and say, we had it so hard down here and this and that and whatever the case might be. All they had everything. But when we came across here, we lost everything. The Lord tell us, right? The Lord tell us even our sons and daughters will be given unto another people. We even lost with children. We don't understand how serious that is. You understand? We lost with culture. We forget how we dressing. We lost with language. These East Indians, they're still reading the writing the Sanskrit or the holy songs, whatever the case might be. And they know it. When you're listening to all these stations, 91 point whatever, on these East Indian stations, they're singing to the songs that playing. The songs that playing in Hindi when the Prime Minister was coming into the stadium and they're keeping all the cultural show. You see any people in the crowd actually singing in the Hindi language. You understand? Drop a black man in a stadium now and Lego some Hebrew on him. You ready to run out at it quick. Not knowing that is a culture. That is a history, a lost it. Where Officer Swag? Mm-hmm. Exactly. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So yeah. They will be able to use things, like there was, I would say, raw, exactly. Till this day. Mm-hmm. Correct. And the opening, come and open doors for his people. Just as I rightfully saying, all that we had to take into consideration and watch what happening. When the Lord telling us, gather yourself together, O nation not desired, we don't understand the things that we could do when we start gathering ourselves. You understand? When you look back at the history from Babylon to Timbuktu, when you read the history when we fled into Africa, I remember we fled with skilled people. You understand? Skilled people fled into Africa. Not like we didn't have no brains to function. You understand? But the thing about it is when we lost with culture, we lost with history, we lost with heritage, we start building up these other nations. Every captivity we get, we building up these other nations. Every time we had to flee from disobedience from the Lord, we go and we build up these other nations. You understand? When these other nations supposed to be building us, the way the Lord intended to be. You understand? We as a people, we must return back to the Most High. Give me Amos chapter 3 and verse 2, Baba Kusha. We as a people, we must return back to the Most High. Come and start understanding the things that the Lord wants to know, and you will start to see how these other nations this operate. And they reach the point right now whereby they feel like they're so stupid. We're talking everything plain in front there, but we can't pick it up. We can't decipher it. You understand? Just like I hear in one of the teachings before, if you joining on to these other nations, it's because you're joining another enemy there. And they don't understand that once we start joining on to these other races and their culture, you're just joining another culture to you and you're not knowing your culture, which is of utmost importance to the so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man now. When you have to read Baba Kusha.
The book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 2.
Go ahead.
You only have I known of all the families of the earth.
So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, the Lord is telling us. We only. All right, give me from the top, Baba Kusha. Let me start on 1.
The book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord had spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Children of Israel, you so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. The prophet is saying, hear these words that the Lord had spoken against you. This is what the Lord wanted to hear. This is what the Lord wanted to know. This is what the Lord wants us as a people to understand. Go ahead.
O children of Israel.
O children of who?
O children of Israel.
So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. That family that has that royal blood, that royal bloodline. The Lord wants you to know this. Black in the ghettos, Silot, Mova, John, Chumaka, all the places that black people reside, all these ghettos, the Lord wants you to know this so-called black man. Go ahead.
Against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt.
So against the whole family which the Lord brought up from Egypt, because of course at one time, we as a people, we was in captivity in Egypt. You understand? The Lord brought us out with a mighty arm. There's a beautiful story to always read, and that is why we have the Passover. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 2. You only have I known.
Who?
You only have I known.
Go ahead.
Of all the families of the earth.
The Lord is telling us that He has known us. Out of all the families on the earth, the Lord has known you, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Don't make your religious leader tie up to feel the Lord loves everybody. The Lord saying that you only have I known. Go ahead.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Lord said, out of all the families of the earth, I have only known you, O Israel, O black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. And He's saying that He will punish us for our iniquity. The Lord is going to punish us for our sins and our wrongdoings. You understand? How are we going to know that we're doing wrong? We must understand the laws and the Most High. That is why the Lord's laws is very, very, very important for our people. You understand? You start learning what the Lord wants you to do from what He does not want you to do, then we'll understand where you and your people are going, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. You understand? Salakia. Then you will know where you are going, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. The Lord saying, out of all the families on the earth, you, He have known. You, He have given you all His laws, commandments, and statutes to follow. You, He have given you His judgments. You understand? We must return to the Most High, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Remember Romans chapter 2 and verse 13, Baba Kusha. We must seek all the things that the Lord wants us to do. Because there are things that the Lord wants us to do. When I have it, go ahead, Baba Kusha.
Can. The book of Romans chapter 2 and verse 13. For not the hearers of the law are just before God, but the doers of the law shall be justified.
So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, when we come back to, when we return to the Most High, we have to keep his laws, commandments, and stuff. Not because they hear the Most High laws that are good. We have things that we need to do. You understand? Whatsoever the Lord commands us as a people to do, this is what we're supposed to do, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian. These is the things that we're supposed to be seeking out diligently. These is the things that the Christian church is supposed to be teaching us, our people, in order for us to turn from our ways, in order for us to turn away from the iniquities. You understand? That the Lord said that he's going to punish us of. Say, you only have I known, but I will punish you for your iniquities. We have to seek out the things of the Lord diligently, return from it. You understand? Return from our ways and start keeping the ways of the Most High. Start keeping his laws, his judgments, his commandments, his statutes. You understand? These are the things that we have to understand. These are the things that we have to follow. And remove our minds, remove our thoughts from these things that sound good and feel good in the Christian church. You understand? Give me 2 Timothy chapter 3, Baba Kusha. Remove our minds from that. Remove our thoughts from these things. You understand? And seek to the things of the Most High, which is profitable for our people. To help build our people. To help give them back that place that they need to be. Go ahead.
The book of 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come.
You understand? So the prophet is saying in the last days that perilous times is going to come. And when you look at the things that are happening, it's going to get more and more perilous. What we done here about wars and rumors of wars. You understand? You don't see Trump like a crackhead doing all kind of madness. You don't see now it affecting Trinidad and Tobago. You understand? It might be in the news plenty, but once you start searching out certain things, you're going to realize we go in and feel it. You understand? Go ahead.
Can. For men shall be lovers of their own selves.
Men shall be what?
Lovers of their own selves. Covetous.
Hold on. So that if you don't want to drop that. Yeah, Baba Kusha, drop that. I was trying to find it why that's going on. And give me Matthew chapter 15 and verse 18. Matthew 15, sorry, and verse 8. I'll see I can find it back as I'm going along. I now realize that he got one.
The book of Matthew chapter 15 and verse 8.
Go ahead.
This people draw it nigh unto me with their mouth.
And this is Christian church, black people that follow after these religious leaders. We draw nigh to the Most High. We could talk every wonderful thing about the Lord. You understand? We could talk all the nice things about the Lord. We draw close to the Most High with what?
This people draw nigh unto me with their mouth.
We draw nigh to the Most High with our mouths. Go ahead.
And honor it me with their lips. But their heart is far from me.
But their what?
Their heart is far from me.
But our heart, our mind is not set on the things of the Most High. Our mind is far from the Lord. You understand? Draw to the Most High with our mouths and honor him with our lips. But our mind, the things that the Lord wants us to do, the things he requires from us, the things that we're supposed to be seeking out. You understand? Help our people come together to raise black people from the conditions that they're in. You understand? That's far from the Most High. Go ahead.
Verse 9. But in vain do they worship me.
But what?
But in vain they do worship me.
But in vain, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, we worship in the Most High. We go into the Christian church, the Muslim mosque, we worship in the Most High in vain. You understand? It's not making no sense. That's what the Lord saying. We join closely with our mouths. Say, I praise the Lord, worship Jesus, this, that. But actually seeking out the things that the Lord wants us to follow, far from the Lord, far from our mind. The Lord saying we in vain worshiping Him. You understand that there's only one body, which is the ISUPK under commanding General Yahana. You understand? Go ahead.
Can't. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men.
Teaching what?
For doctrines, the commandments of men.
Teaching for doctrines, the commandments of men. Things that men made. Man-made things. You see all this Christmas and this Easter, birthdays and all these different things. These things, so-called black man, Native Indian man, and Hispanic man, we have to stay away from these things. You're saying before, these other nations, they studied us, but they will project these things on us. You understand? They keep projecting these things on us to keep us in sin, to keep us at that low state that they want us to be in. But we have to realize, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, time for us to wake up. Search out what the Lord wants us to be. Search out the things He wants us to know. Come into the ISUPK and be taught by the priests and prophets of the Lord. You understand? Not hold on to the Christian church and their philosophies and their doctrine. Because when you go to the Christian church, you're worshiping the Most High in vain. Not making no sense. Come here and learn. Learn how to change your ways. Learn how to dress. Learn what to eat. Learn what not to eat. You understand? Learn the high holy days and the feast days of the Most High. These is the things we as a people supposed to be keeping. And don't think it's strange. Learn about the other nations. These other nations are our enemies. We only have us, the 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel. We only have us. These other nations is not here for us. You understand? I want to talk. These other nations are not here for us. You understand? But they search us out, they understand us, and then they start operating on us. And we don't understand that, but we must be in right standing with the Most High. Give me the book of Judith, Bible Christian. 4:1.
So like that? 4:1?
1. We'll start at 1. You understand? You're going to see how it is important for us to understand who we are. Knowing who we are, then knowing our enemies, it's going to show you so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, how they was working upon the nation of Israel for a very long time. It's going to show us so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, when we turn back to the Lord, what happens to our enemies. You understand?
So like that, so it's Matthew.
Judith chapter 4, verse 1. Yeah. They're going to show us when we turn back to the Lord as a nation, what happened to our enemies. This time, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, this is not a time to be asleep. This is not a time to be in the Christian church singing and jumping and dancing and doing things that just make you feel good. You understand? This is a time that we have to gather ourselves together, O nation not desired, Zephaniah 2:1. This is a time that we have to come into the truth, come into the understanding of the scriptures, of the Bible, of your history. Come into the understanding of knowing who you are. You understand? When you have it, read it, Bible Kusha.
The book of Judith, chapter 4 and verse 1. Now the children of Israel that dwelt in Judea heard all that Polyphemus, the chief of captain of Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, had done to the nations.
So, black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. This was that time when the children of Israel, you understand, we was going to war. But we was hearing all the things that this captain of the Assyrians, you understand, Polyphemus, was doing to these nations. So we hearing the atrocities that he was doing to these nations, the harsh things. You understand? Go ahead.
And after what manner he had spoiled all their temples and brought them to naught.
You understand? He spoiled the temples and bring these nations to naught. So we understand now that nah, this man brutal, bad. You understand? He's not playing. It's like how Jerusalem was surrounded and they destroyed Israel. We had to flee to the mountains. We hear anything that all of them was doing. You understand? Go ahead.
Therefore, they were exceedingly afraid.
Therefore, they were what?
Exceedingly afraid.
Therefore, the children of Israel, we was what? Exceedingly afraid. For that to happen, the person that doing this holocaust, that doing these things to the nations, he was actually fierce. You understand? Let you know that was a mighty man with a mighty army. So the children of Israel began to get afraid. Go ahead.
Therefore, they were exceedingly afraid of him and were troubled for Jerusalem and for the temple of the Lord their God.
So there was trouble for Jerusalem because they know Jerusalem could come under siege, they could get attacked, they could get destroyed. And for the temple of the Lord. Go ahead.
Verse 3. For they were newly returned from the captivity.
For they were what?
They were newly returned from the captivity.
So we was newly returned from being under captives of the other nation. This is what we have to understand, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian. When we sin against the Lord, you're going to see it. We always end up in some form of trouble or captivity. And we fresh out of captivity. And hearing about this king, this captain doing all these things. Shaking nation. You understand? So now we're exceedingly afraid because we fresh out of captivity. You want no army? You understand? And we know in this man might and his power. Go ahead.
A long time. And all the people of Judea were lately gathered together, and the vessels and the altar and the house were sanctified after the profanation.
Stop right here, but go to Judah chapter 5 and take it from verse 1, Baba Kusha.
The book of Judah chapter 5 and verse 1. Then was it declared to Holyphanes, the chief captain of the army of Assur, that the children of Israel had prepared for war.
You understand? So now we hear that the children of Israel, they're starting to prepare for war. Because remember, we hearing about the things that Holocaust is doing to these other nations. We fresh out of captivity, so we don't know what's going to happen already. You understand? Go ahead.
And that the children of Israel had prepared for war, and had shut up the passages of the hill country, and had fortified all the tops of the high hills, and had laid impediments in the campaign countries.
You understand? So we set up, fortified, because we know war coming. Go ahead.
Verse 2, wherewith he was very angry.
He was what?
He was very angry.
You can understand why. Go ahead.
And called all the princes of Moab, and the captains of Ammon, and all the governors of the sea coast.
So this year now will be like a summit. You understand? Call all the captains, the princes of Moab, the Chinese, all the governors of the sea coast. Go ahead.
Verse 3, and he said unto them, tell me now, ye sons of Canaan, who this people is.
So now when he called them together, he asked them, tell me, who is these people? This is not a one-on-one conversation with one man asking the next man. What's that? Who is these people and them now? This is a captain or a king that called in princes of Moab, Ammon, and governors of the sea coast. So this, let you know, there's a man with weight, there's a man with power. You understand? And he called them now to find out who is these people. Go ahead.
That dwell in the hill country, and what are the cities that they inhabit.
So you want to know who is these people dwelling in the hill countries and what cities they're in. Go ahead.
And what is the multitude of the army?
And how big the army is. If they have any army or they don't have an army. You understand how big it is, how mighty, how powerful. He wants to know. Go ahead.
And wherein is their power and strength.
And what?
And wherein is their power and strength?
And he want to know wherein is their power and their strength. Where is their might? You understand? Now, when you hear things like this, they know how the furnace is our Lord. You understand what you look at the questions he asking the governors, the princes. You know that somebody not stupid. Go ahead.
And what king is set over them, or captain of their army?
So he want to know everything what's going on with the children of Israel. What king over them, what army, where the might coming from, where's the power? Because he looking to attack. You understand? So he looking for these strategic points to attack the children of Israel. Go ahead.
And why have they not, Salakia, and why have they determined not to come and meet me more than all the inhabitants of the west?
So more than all the inhabitants of the west, he asking, well, how come them determined to come and meet me? How come these people don't want to come and meet me? All the other people from the west, they come in and meet me, but these people here, how they come in and meet me? You understand? So more or less it's like, nah. He said, of course. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 5. Then Achior, the captain of all the sons of Ammon, let my Lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant.
So now Achior, the captain of all the sons of the Japanese, he say, let me tell you this. Hear this word from thy servant. Go ahead.
And I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people.
So he is saying now that I will tell you the truth concerning these people. Now there's something I have to take into very close consideration. Go ahead.
Which dwelleth near thee, and inhabiteth the hill countries, and there shall no lie come out of the mouth of thy servant.
So now he say, I will tell you what, where these people dwelling, who is the power, who is this, no line will come out from a mouth, right? Jump down to verse 10, because of course he started going on and showing, but these were the people in Egypt under the hands of Pharaoh. The God opened up the Red Sea. You understand? So he started explaining to the king, all of us coming down, about the people. Now, in order for him to know these things, you have to study the people, you have to hear the history, you have to study them, you understand, to know all these things. Come, go ahead. Jump down to verse 10, Baba Kusha.
Verse 10. But when a famine covered all the land of Canaan,
go ahead,
they went down into Egypt and sojourned there, while they were nourished and became a great multitude.
You understand? So when the famine come, they go along in Egypt. So the sojourn in Egypt. Go ahead.
So that one could not number their nation.
You understand? And they began to get nourished. The nation began to grow. You understand? That is when Pharaoh, I think it was the grandson, come and say, before these people become bigger and mightier than us, let me deal wisely with them. You understand? Go ahead.
Okay. Therefore, the king of Egypt rose up against them and dealt subtly with them and brought them low with laboring in brick and made them slaves.
You understand? So now he deals subtly with the Israelites in Egypt, which we know the story of when they go into the Passover time. He was in Egypt, you understand? And he was dealt subtly with. These are the things that you have to watch, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. These other nations, they study us. They know the history. You understand? They know when we was in Egypt, we was at a low state. They know that this king dealt subtly with us. Why we was in Egypt having that time, we didn't realize the destruction that was happening to us. Because we were on a high. We eating, we drinking. Remember when it had some of us wanted to go back in Egypt for the flesh pots and the melons and the green onions. Because we was on that loss, we was on that high. You understand? Go ahead.
Come. And God dried the Red Sea before them and brought them to the...
Yes. Salakia, I gotta go back up to verse 12.
Oh, Salakia. Verse 12. Then they cried unto their God.
Then they did what?
Cried unto their God. And he smote all the land of Egypt with incurable plagues, so that the Egyptians cast them out of their sight.
Understand? So then we start to cry to the Most High. Just like we're doing today, we pray, let loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro through the earth. You understand? We cry to the Most High. Whilst we was in that condition, we cried to the Most High in Egypt. Go ahead.
And God dried the Red Sea before them
Go ahead.
and brought them to Mount Sinai and Kadesh Barn and cast forth all that dwelt in the wilderness. Verse 15. So they dwelt in the land of the Amorites, and they destroyed by their strength all them of Esabon, and passing over Jordan, they possessed all the hill country.
You understand? So he given Holofernes the whole rundown on what happened with the children of Israel. He was in Egypt. He was dealt subtly with. You understand? The Lord openly cried to the Most High. Just imagine and know that. All these things. He cried to the Most High. You understand? He opened the Red Sea for them. So now the king here, where is the power? What bring them down to this low stage? All these different things. He's trying to understand what happened. Jump down to verse 17, Baba Kusha.
Drop down to?
Right?
Still okay. So drop down?
Yeah, verse 17.
Verse 17. And whilst they sinned not before their God.
Whilst they did what?
Whilst they sinned not before their God.
So even he understood. When us as a people, when we don't sin before the Most High, go ahead.
They prospered.
They what?
They prospered.
These nations know exactly. They know exactly what they're doing to the Lord's people. You understand? They know once we're not sinning against the Most High, our nation is going to rise. This book of the law, the Lord gave us rules to follow. Laws, commandments, and statutes. Once we keep following these things, we start understanding what we need to do as a people. Stop sinning against the Most High, come out from the Christian church, come out from all these religions. Stop committing adultery, not aborting your children. Stop smoking weed, selling your brother drugs. You understand? Once we stop sinning against the Most High, these nations know that we're going to be prosperous. You understand? But look at what they do to us. They keep pushing things that will make us sin against the Most High in the forefront. You understand? They don't strip you of everything already and then keep beating this propaganda in front of us with many different things and have us going in all these different directions that make us sin against the Most High. You understand? Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 18. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them.
You understand? But once we as a people, we depart from the way which the Lord wants us to follow, depart from these laws, commandments, and statutes. Go ahead.
They were destroyed in many battles.
They was what?
They were destroyed in many battles.
As a people, we're going to be destroyed in many battles. This is not talking just about physical war alone. You understand? And anything we try to come up against, we're going to be destroyed. You understand? Go ahead.
Very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs.
And we was what?
And were led captive into a land that was not theirs.
Went into servitude. Go ahead.
And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies.
We're going to be conquered. We as a people, we're going to be destroyed, and we're going to be conquered. Go ahead.
Verse 19. But now are they returned to their God, and are come up from the places where they were scattered.
So now where we were scattered, we returned to the Most High, and we came back from these places. Just like the Most High said, that is going to happen to us again. You understand? Go ahead.
And have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate.
Go ahead.
Verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor.
So now we tell him all these things. You understand? Show them where we were subtly dealt with, where our power is. Once we return to the Most High, this is what will happen. If we turn away from the Lord, these is the things going to happen to them. You understand? And he's saying, now hear this, now my Lord and Governor. Go ahead.
If there be any error against this people.
If there be any error against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, go ahead.
And they sin against their God.
And they sin against who?
Their God.
And they sin against their God. Now, if you understand that you are the children of Israel, the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you understand? You understand that you have laws, commandments, statutes to follow, high holy days to keep, different things that the Lord requires for us as a people to build as a nation. You understand? To build that tribal nation. If you understand these things, then you have to understand then who is the power we serving. You understand? What are the things that I supposed to do for me or my nation not to sin against the Lord? You understand? He is saying that now, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against these people and they sin against their God, so which means he understand the power of the Most High, the power of the God of the children of Israel. But he know if we sin, the Lord will fight for us. You understand? He know if we're not sinning, we're going to be prosperous, the Lord going to be on our side. Go ahead.
Let us consider.
Let us what?
Let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
Once they sin against their God, black people, Hispanic people, and Native Indian people, this is going to be their ruin. This is going to be their destruction. You understand? So these nations are going to continually push for us to sin against the Lord. You understand? They're going to deal with us very subtly. Very subtle. You understand? Once we don't return to the Most High, we don't understand the things that he requires from us, we're going to remain at the bottom. We're going to remain at the bottom of all these other nations. But if they say anything, they know, they understand. Well,
and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
And now, when we go up to fight them, when we go up to war them, we go overtake them. You understand? Go ahead.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation,
and he's also telling all of us, but if these people do not sin against their God, go ahead.
Let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them.
Say now, if these people are sinning, it's better you leave them alone. Lest the Most High power is going to defend this nation. You understand? Go ahead.
And their God before them. And we become a reproach before all the world.
You understand? Lest their God defend them, and they become a reproach for all the world. They become just like how Egypt became. They become the laughing stock. You understand? But black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, these other nations, they know. They know. Give me Officer Shah, give me Psalm 83. We keep not thou silent, Baba Kusha. You understand? These other nations know. If we as a people keep sinning against the Most High, we keep going against his rules, his laws, his commandments, his statutes, we're going to always remain at the bottom. You understand? We're always going to remain at the bottom of society. But we have to also understand so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Once we return to the Most High, start doing the things that he wants us to do, yeah, the Lord will fight for us. We're going to come out from this condition that we're in and be that nation that the Lord wants us to be. When you have read it over, Sasha.
Psalm chapter 83 and verse 1. Keep not thou silent, O Most High.
You understand? So King David is saying here, Lord, keep not the silence. Why King David is saying that is because the things that he is seeing that is happening to his people, you understand? He know that the Lord could defend them. He know that the Lord will fight for them. So he's saying, Lord, don't keep your silence. You understand? Contrary to what the Christian church say, that the Lord is all about hugs and kisses and, you know, everybody should come together and love one another. King David is saying, Lord, don't keep your silence. Do something. You understand? Go ahead.
O Most High, hold not thy peace, and be not still, Most High.
He's saying, don't hold your peace. Lord, don't be still. Do something for these people. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 2. For lo.
For what?
For lo.
For he's saying, for look. Look at what happened to black people. Look at what happened to Hispanics and Native Indians. He said, for lo, die people. You You understand? Go ahead.
Thy enemies make it,
Salakia, follow thine enemies, Salakia, go ahead.
thy enemies make it tumult.
He's saying, look, your enemies making a tumult, they're making a gathering. You understand? Go ahead.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have begun to get proud. You understand? They that hate the Most High. That is why we're saying when you come into this, the truth, come into the ISUPK, start learning who you are. You must learn who your enemies are. You must learn who these other nations are. King David is saying, for look, your enemies, they're making a tumult. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Go ahead.
Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken what?
Crafty counsel against thy people. And consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And we know the thy people being spoken about here is you support black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian. They have taken crafty counsel. King David is saying that about these other nations. Look, when we just read in the book of Judith, you understand? The chief captains of the Japanese, he's saying, hey, when they was in Egypt, that king dealt subtly with them. This is something that these other nations do. The children of Israel. This is something that we have to pay attention to. You understand? Once we understand the laws, commandments, statutes of the Most High, we have to stay right there. Do the things that the Lord requires from us and keep ourselves away from sin, from doing the wrong thing. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
You understand? So all these nations that take crafty counsel against the Most High people, they have come together and they have said, hey, see these black people, these blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, let me cut them off from being a nation. Let me make this nation be of no more. Go ahead.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. I'm going to check it out. Support black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. That's why they say we are the 12 lost tribe of the nation of Israel. The name of Israel was no more when we was destroyed as a people. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent.
All these other nations, all these other races, they come together under one agreement. You understand? Go ahead.
They are confederates against thee. Verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom.
So they come together in one agreement. The tabernacles of Edom. Edom is the so-called white man, forefather of the white man. You understand? The white race. Go ahead.
And the Ishmaelites.
Ishmaelites. Go ahead.
Of Moab.
The Ishmaelites, the Arabs. You understand? The Moab is the Chinese. Go ahead.
And the Hagarenes.
The Hagarenes, the Africans. So it's going down to show you, it's right obsession. It's going down to show all these other nations that came together to take crafty counsel against the children of Israel. You must tell me something that's go look it up there, right? You understand? It's showing all these nations that came together that took crafty counsel against the Lord's chosen people. These other nations, they understand once we sin, once we keep in sin, that's why they keep pushing drugs in our communities, guns in our communities. You understand? All these abortion clinics, all these movies have all these different things that will make our sisters be committing adultery and fornication and all these different things. They keep showing all these propaganda on the media to keep our people in sin. Christian church doing the best work for them. That is why we have to run away from that and start understanding what the Lord requires from us. Start understanding that we are the Lord's chosen people, that holy people. You understand? And keep ourselves from sinning against the Most High, because the times right now are getting serious. You understand? We hear about wars and rumors of wars, things happening, people, bombs dropping here, missiles flying over there. You understand? Flooding and earthquake in diverse places. There are everything happening around the earth right now. You can see the instability of the earth. You understand? But our rulership is coming after this, as the Lord prophesied. You understand? Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning thereof. Just paraphrasing. Now is for us to come back to the Most High and start serving Him. Start doing the things that He wants us to do. When you have it, read it up, Sasha.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people.
So called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, you are that holy people. You are that people that the Most High wants us to be separate. He wants you to be separate. Out of all these other nations, the Lord wants you to be different from them. You understand? Go ahead.
Unto the Lord thy power.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord thy power hath chosen thee.
The Lord has chosen you, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Go ahead.
To be a special people
Mm-hmm.
unto himself.
Go ahead.
Above all the people that are upon the face of the earth.
So the Lord chose you, so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, to be special, to be separate. The Lord wants you to be above all people. You understand? The Lord wants to be at the bottom. We are at the bottom right now because we sin against the Lord. You understand? These other nations understood. Once we keep sinning against the Most High, we're going to stay right there. You understand? We're not going to be above. We're going to continually be beneath. Lord saying that He made us, He wants us to be special, He wants us to be holy. Give us His laws, His commandments, and statutes. Give us His judgments. You understand? We now have to seek out these things and start following and doing what the Lord requires from us. Again, this is the Light School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You understand? We're out here live in Point 14. If you have any questions or want to get any information about the school, remember, you can call into the number at school at the bottom of the screen, 479-8286. That is the officer over the school, Officer Sawapia Allah. You understand? Or you can call the captain, who's over Officer Sawapia Allah, the captain of the school, at number 1202-701-4640. Understand? Our next upcoming high holiday, remember, we are going up trumpets, as in September, right? And with that, who doing the issue matter? Was that your card? All right, with that, I'll pass the class over to Officer Shah.
Security and very kind to be out of 100 hospital of New York on the commanding general. Rules of brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they're walking for 6 months. They are here to be food only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if your brother or sister has an attrition to kill your person, he or she must get permission from the head to substitute another brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Side, which is the commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18 to 21 and Malachi chapter 3 to 8 to 10. We said in Higla, Josh, and Mishra, 10% of every penny and piece the Lord gave to the treasury department for teacher priest fund. We will offer for priest, non-mandatory, whatever amount you like to tell. Upcoming holy convocation. That will be the memorial going to trumpet. That will be the first day of the 7th month. That will be Sunday, the 21st of September, 2025. You can find it in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 24 and verse 25. Remind you that Wakiam, that Wakiam check on social media such as ISPK, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISP events and material. If your brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then just start wearing more black, which includes black boots, like shirt, like pants, like headband, that beside my sir, on Rockland, you're going to write the this, say, oh, Father, pray. Abanawa, the Basamaya, Dash, yeah, Tanka, Yahawa, the Zaka, yeah, the Shah, Ratida, Rawa, yeah, Samaya,
turn,
the walk,
walk,
come,
come,
hard,
hard,
the walk,
walk,
asalak no,
slap,
the walking no,
what,
asalak no,
slap,
the walking no,
what,
wala, the no, asawa, all, hard, shine,
shine,
yeah,
yeah,
right,
right,
yeah,
yeah,
ha,
hard,
mulak,
walk,
ala, the correct,
man. Just study the English, father, try to never. What do I mean? Keep them coming. Will be done. Dinner. Assist and help. What's the state? Daily bread. And forgive us. Our debts. We forgive. Our debtors. Lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory. Forever. So be it.
Yahweh, Hashem,
Hashem,
Mosai,
Shah,
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 Noah,
Tan now,
Kamala, Amazarium, Koyam, Akak, Akawat, Nala, Agarishan, Hashem, Mosai,
what we just said in English, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
the name of Yahweh. Please give us the power to eat all manner of sickness, all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the leper, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, cast them out. The name of Yahweh. Thank you. So be it.
Barak, Ata, Hawa, Shai,
Shah,
Akala, Walayam, Tadabia,
Sabia,
Wapihana, Wapia, Serenia, Aqua, Aqua, Awatiam, Yehovah, Hashem, Oshai,
Shai,
Waraman.
what we just said in English. What we just said in English. Bless the hour. Bless the hour. And Michael. And the angel. Commanding General. General. Captain. The officer. The troopers. And the sister. Our name of Yahweh. Thank you always. So be it.
Blessed are you, Yehovah, King of heaven and earth. All things live. Yehovah, name of your listen to us now. Right now. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction. Leader that speak against us. Like prophets, the teacher, the prince, the priest, the Israelite brothers, and the school, that evils and curses and punishment and destruction. Leader and shake loose. The treasure of the rich of Israel, refuse to give to the school, force their riches, to enter thy sanctuary, that evils and curses, and punishment and destruction, lead them, and the nation, and the drug dealer, the court system, the prison system, plan prayer, all the governments are the state of the army, human Catholic Church, Islam, Christianity, college, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Sporting Authority, the gay movement, the lesbian, five, Workers of Israel, NASA Space Program, Army, Navy, Air Force, Reed, Wall Street, open up the internet, and the air, people access, and the radio channel, with the spirit, any of that people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction, all the leaders that stand in our way, try to stop us from broadcasting your word, through the planet, let all the place, force them to go through the earth, consume them, and let the plague shake the house of the thief, and the murderer. Let your house shine, Michael, Gabriel, come down, the flag is source,
flying source,
for it all the
for this all in
I come up against it, speak thy word,
thy word,
cause it to be known by all that is the angels
the angel,
that have done it.
that
Cause it to be spread
be spread
through the whole media, through the whole world,
the whole world,
for them to shake up like that.
to shake and
In the name of your
Yahweh.
thank you. Always. So be it. Where's that blessed Israel? Yahweh, Hashem, Oshai, Rakanoa, Ashala, Abayat, Safari, Barak, Agan, Hashem,
General,
Captains, officers, troopers, sisters,
destroyer, Commanding General, Captain, officer, trooper, sister, destroyer of Israel, Shirai, Indian family, Muslim family, Koto family, Philip family, Fletcher family. Commanding General, Captain, officer, trooper, sister, children, one destroyer of Israel.
brothers and sisters in the
Brothers and sisters, we are beginning.
brothers and sisters,
Brothers and sisters,
and babies in the
children and babies, we are beginning.
friends of family,
Friends of family,
long family,
long family, Zion,
and Hashem,
Hashem,
Oshai, one.
what we just said in English, Lord, in the name of Yahushua, bless us and Israel and the school, bless, heal, shield, protect, loved one, in the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it.
Sir, let's get a teacher one person. Look, Martin Shabbat, Major, Arak, Jehovah,
How about Shemer tribe of Katam?
Major, Barak, Yehovah,
Shabbat,